Hola, ¿qué tal? Bienvenido a Miami. It takes that one bad spring, summer, or winter for a professional sports team to fall apart entirely. Guys get fired, players retire, sign elsewhere, or get traded. And that one bad offseason is enough to completely ruin a team. We've seen it throughout sports history. I'm Mike Cantalupo, and here are 10 off seasons that completely destroyed a team. And a huge shout out to Collinator 12345 for suggesting this video. The 2000 Buffalo Bills. The Bills were a perennial playoff team in the 90s. We know they reached 4 straight Super Bowls, and we know they lost them all. They made the playoffs in 1999, but lost to the Titans on the Music City Miracle. It was star pass rusher Bruce Smith who ended up signing with Washington. The Bills then released Thurman Thomas, who signed with the Dolphins. Then Hall of Fame wideout Andre Reed signed with the Broncos, and then the Bills wouldn't make the playoffs again until 2017. The 2012 Texas Rangers. The Rangers made the 2010, then 2011 World Series. They were sent home by the Orioles in the 2012 AL wildcard game. Then a horrible offseason ensued. The team MVP, Josh Hamilton, he signed with the rival Los Angeles Angels. Catcher Mike Napoli, he signed with the Red Sox. Nelson Cruz, he signed with Baltimore. Leader Michael Young, well, he was traded to the Phillies. The Rangers would make the playoffs again in 2015, but they haven't won a playoff series since 2011. They should have worked harder to keep that 2012 band together. The 2010 Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron James, well, he left for Miami. The Cavaliers were the worst team in the East. They went 9-63. They sucked again until LeBron came back in the 2014 offseason. They had to watch James win it all in Miami in 2012 and 2013. You lose LeBron James, you're going to stink. The 2008 Minnesota Wild. The Wild won the Northwest Division in 2008 with 104 points. Then they were eliminated by the Colorado Avalanche in the first round of the playoffs. Then it was a gut-wrenching off-season. 30-goal man Brian Rolston, he signed with the New Jersey Devils. The playmaking star Pavel Demitra, he signed with the Vancouver Canucks. The Wild would be endured in mediocrity for a few years. If that core stayed together longer, they might have been good. Oh, and then they lost Marian Gaborik in free agency the next year. It was brutal. 2013 Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens were coming off of a Super Bowl 47 championship. Then Ozzie Newsome decided it was time to rebuild the Ravens. Ray Lewis retired. Ed Reed signed with the Texans. I forgot Ed Reed was a Texan, I'll be honest with you. Top wideout and Rob Bolden, he was traded to the 49ers for some reason I can't explain. Paul Kruger signed with the Browns. Bernard Pollard, he signed with the Titans. Ellerby signed with the Dolphins. The Ravens have only made the playoff once since that 2013 offseason. The 2002 Cleveland Indians. The Indians won 6 NL Central Division titles from 1995 to 2001. They included 2 World Series appearances. They lost both of them, but they didn't have the budget. Mark Shapiro had to rebuild the team. After the ALDS elimination in 2001, they started. First, it was Hall of Famer Roberto Alomar, who was traded to the Mets. Then Bartolo the GOAT Colon traded to the Expos. Jim Thome, he signed with the Phillies. The Indians are now a great team, but in the mid to late 2000s and early 2010s, it was rough. The rebuild was necessary for an aging team. The 1996 Orlando Magic. Shaq spent 4 seasons with Orlando. He got them to the 1995 NBA Finals, where they were swept by the Rockets. Then the Magic reached the 96 Eastern Conference Finals. Shaq signed a 7-year, $120 million deal with the Lakers. He and Kobe Bryant led the Lakers to a three-peat, while the Magic were stuck being a mediocre team. Mediocre. They had some playoff seasons, but they were filled with first-round exits. Losing Shaq hurt a potential dynasty. If he had stayed with Penny Hardaway and Horace Grant, could have been something special. The 2007 Buffalo Sabres. The 2006 and 2007 Sabres won the President's Trophy. Then they reached the Eastern Conference Finals, where they lost to the Senators. Then the dreadful 2007 summer took place. Chris Drury, he had 37 goals and 69 points. Yeah, but the problem is he signed with the New York Rangers. A 95-point man in Daniel Briere. He signed a deal with the Philadelphia Flyers. The Sabres lost 2 franchise players, and they have only made the playoffs twice since 2007 and haven't won a playoff series. They're consistently among the league's worst teams. That offseason started it all. The 2015 San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers reached the 2011, 2012, and 2013 NFC title games. They reached the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 45, and they barely lost to the Ravens. Injuries led to a disappointing 8-8 season in 2014, and then the offseason was terrible. Jim Harbaugh left for Michigan after clashing with players and management, and Harbaugh was a pretty amazing coach. They also lost star linebacker Patrick Willis, who retired at the age of 30 with a toe injury. Then they lost a young talent in Chris Borland. He retired after concussion injuries. Then Aldon Smith was released. Justin Smith retired. The 49ers were awful 2015 to 2017. At least now they have Jimmy Garoppolo, right? 98-99 Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan led the Bulls to a three-peat and their 6th NBA championship, but the Bulls decided to completely rebuild after a 6th title. Phil Jackson left after clashing forever, constantly with the front office. Michael Jordan, he retired. Steve Kerr, he was traded to the Spurs. Dennis Rodman signed with the Lakers. Scottie Pippen was traded to the Houston Rockets. The Rockets. The Bulls haven't reached the finals since the rebuild. They've been one of the NBA's worst teams since that rebuild in '99. What other off seasons completely destroyed a team? The Marlins have done it a bunch of times. So they're just the ultimate number one, and they don't even need to be mentioned because they're just so notorious for it. Until next time, I'm Cantalupo. Welcome to Miami. Thanks for watching.
My knee.